Kamala Harris, her husband is apparently helping her kind of campaign, doing fundraisers and stuff. And she recently spoke out about how people that take money from the law firm that represents Jeffrey Epstein. So Jeffrey Epstein is he's a child molester and a sexual harasser that recently got locked up for being caught essentially doing child trafficking, sexual child trafficking, and he recently just got thrown into jail, got hit with like tons of charges and stuff. So this was obviously a big story. This was something that was actually being, if I remember correctly, it was being investigated for a while, and finally they came to the point of filing the charges, and then charging him, filing the charges, and then he was found guilty, and so he's been thrown in jail. So definitely justice was served in that regard. But Kamala Harris came out and said, like I said, people that take money from the law firms that represent Jeffrey Epstein, this child molester, child trafficker guy, that you're doing the wrong thing and you shouldn't do that. So you shouldn't be taking money from any law firm that represents this guy. So the title of this article is from AP. It says Harris blasts and takes money from Epstein's law firm. So again, her husband did a fundraiser with partners from the firm representing Jeffrey Epstein. So let's check it out here. It says Kamala Harris bemoaned the influence of the powerful and connected elite last Tuesday when she called on top Justice Department officials to recuse themselves from any matter related to Jeffrey Epstein. She said their former law firms work on behalf of the financier accused of sexual abuse calls into question the integrity of our legal system. Yet the same day, Harris's husband headlined a Chicago fundraiser for her presidential campaign that was hosted by 6 partners of that firm, Kirkland and Ellis, according to an invitation obtained by the Associated Press. Harris, a California senator and Democratic presidential candidate, was one of several White House hopefuls to blast the handling of Epstein's case in Florida a decade ago, when his lawyers negotiated a deal with federal prosecutors that allowed him to avoid the possibility of years in prison. But her decision to move ahead with the fundraiser hosted by Kirkland and Ellis partners while criticizing the firm underscores the tension that can arise when a politician's rhetoric collides with his or her need to raise money to sustain a presidential campaign. If any connection with Kirkland and Ellis is a stain on senior department officials, why isn't a connection with the law firm for the receipt of campaign contributions a stain on her own campaign? Said Paul S. Ryan, an attorney for the good government group Common Cause. And then the next part here quotes an official from the Kamala Harris campaign defending this fundraiser. It says, Ian Sams, a Harris spokesman, said there wasn't a problem with accepting the campaign contributions because the firm is big and the partners who hosted the fundraiser didn't work on Epstein's plea agreement. The people involved in that case have not supported her campaign and she wouldn't want that support anyway. Anyway, Sams said. So that's bullshit, because the way Kamala Harris put it is she said that any campaign or any politician, anybody that's taking money from the law firm that represented Jeffrey Epstein, it doesn't matter who the partners are, because partners, there's many partners in a law firm. So she could have easily said that. She could have said, well, don't take money from that specific partner because, they're representing Jeffrey Epstein. That would have made sense. She didn't say that, though. She said you shouldn't be taking money from any of the law firms that represented Jeffrey Epstein. But now her spokesman comes out and then rationalizes the narrative and says, "Oh well, she didn't take money from those specific partners." Okay, well, those partners are part of that law firm. So it doesn't matter whether whether she took money from, Bob from that fundraiser compared to Jim from that fundraiser. They're part of from that not fundraiser, from that law firm which held the fundraiser. So whether it was from this law, whether it's from this person or that person, if they're part of the same law firm, then it's still unethical. So, and she knew that, which is why she pointed it out. But then her dumbass spokesperson comes out and tries to, rewrite history and pretend like she didn't say that. And then I think this is it's quoting a statement from Harris. It says, "In our democracy, no one, no matter how powerful or connected, is above the law. Yet Epstein's deal, secured by his lawyers at Kirkland and Ellis, calls into question the integrity of our legal system and undermines the public's confidence that justice will be served," Harris said in a statement released hours after the Chicago fundraiser. Ironic. So, but look, yeah, that's obviously ridiculous because she's making the statement after the fundraiser happened. But also notice how she says, "in our democracy." You do realize that democracy doesn't, if our campaign finance system was an actual democracy, it wouldn't involve taking money from anybody. It would be a public finance system. So don't tell me about how you believe in democracy. This isn't a form of democracy. You're taking, your husband, whoever, you're taking money from people and from, making money from fundraisers and getting money from donors, and you have super PACs and stuff, and you're talking about democracy. Get the fuck out of here, man. You don't give a shit about democracy. If you gave a damn about democracy, you would be calling out the corrupt political system and campaign system and all that stuff. You would be calling that out instead of acting like it's a democracy and you care about it. And then, on top of the fact that you're allowing your husband to do a fundraiser with, a firm that took money from them, but then your own fucking spokesperson acts like it just depends on which partner you took it from. And then here it says, before her election to the Senate, Harris was the Attorney General of California and was elected to 2 terms as San Francisco's district attorney. Her husband, Doug Emhoff, is also a high-powered attorney who works in corporate law. So it is perhaps little surprise that law firms have been one of the top industries that have donated to her presidential bid, with Kirkland and Ellis being no exception. Her campaign declined to say how much was raised at last week's event. Yeah, that's not a surprise. And the sum won't have to be reported to the Federal Election Commission until October. Records show that a handful of employees and partners of the firm donated about $6,000, to Harris during the first quarter of the year. A drop when compared to the $12 million she raised during that time. Quoting her spokesperson again, it says, "It's an international law firm with thousands of employees, many of whom probably support Kamala Harris because she's a tough prosecutor who actually knows how to put away predators, unlike the Trump lackeys who protect them." Okay, well, you got no argument from me there. Obviously, Trump and his people are protecting Epstein. Epstein was apparently very good friends with Bill Clinton as well, so that's kind of, yeah. I mean, this Epstein guy is obviously friends with all the shadiest political characters out there. But yeah, this again, the rationalization here, where this spokesperson is acting like Kamala Harris taking money from only specific people that work for that firm is bullshit. That's complete bullshit. It doesn't. If Kamala Harris herself is saying that you can't take money from that firm, then you shouldn't take it from the firm. It doesn't matter who the partners are. And this just shows that Kamala and her fucking husband, apparently too, are totally unethical, and they're totally unaware of the fact that, hypocrisy is a thing, and they just want to make as much money for her campaign as possible, fundraise for her campaign as much as possible, take donor money from all the richest fucking, corporatist, people out there, whether they're hedge fund managers, whether they're, CEOs of big companies, multinational corporations, organizations, whatever they are, big banks, all that stuff. They don't give a shit. Law firms, apparently in this case. It's very convenient that her and her husband are both lawyers, and it's like, oh yeah. It's very little surprise that they would be getting money from law firms. Yeah, no shit. But that doesn't mean that doesn't excuse anything. It just means, if anything, she's getting money from a bunch of like rich assholes that want to give her money so that she can, I don't know, she can fucking give them more tax cuts. I don't know. So Kamala Harris is not an ethical person. She clearly does not care about, being a hypocrite. She'll do it because she knows that it's going to give her more money, put more money in her campaign coffers. And at the end of the day, even if it involves taking money from the firm that represented a child molester, a sexual predator, that's okay. And remember, Kamala Harris had an aide who resigned after a $400,000 sexual harassment lawsuit was settled. And this was a guy that was her senior aide, and he was working for her for years, and she had him on her staff and giving her political advice, and he just happened to resign recently. He resigned actually at the end of near the end of 2018, December 2018, and he resigned, and he made sure to leave her campaign because he knew it was obviously going to be a detriment to her. But at the end of the day, when Kamala Harris pretends like she cares so much about, sexual harassment and like it's such a big deal, why does she have a guy that's working for her that's involved in that's committing sexual harassment, and then is only forced to resign when, after he settles a $400,000 lawsuit. Now, Harris's campaign says, we never knew about him and we never knew about this and we just found out. That's bullshit. There's no way you don't know about your own senior top aide. You don't know about him being involved in a sexual harassment lawsuit. They wanted to see how the sexual harassment lawsuit, panned out, see if he would be, if he would settle, maybe he would be found innocent, maybe he would be found guilty. But they wanted to wait until the result came in and then they would make a decision. So it's very convenient that all of a sudden Kamala Harris pretends like she's holier than thou and she cares about Jeffrey Epstein so much when she didn't even care about her own fucking aide, who, conveniently was was doing the exact same things not the exact same things, but he was doing, pretty bad, obviously bad stuff. He was sexually harassing, women when he shouldn't have been doing it. So, and he got caught for it and then he settled. And somehow you don't see that as an issue? Oh, but you didn't know about it, right? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Nobody believes that shit. So Kamala Harris is a hypocrite, and she's an opportunist, and she needs to get called out for this shit. These kind of stuff does not get called out. She doesn't get called out for any of these things. About this aide of hers that resigned, about, this article, it got written about her, but this is not going to be brought up in any kind of debate. I guarantee it's not going to be brought up in any kind of, conversation, town hall, nothing like that, because people are just going to say, it's a smear job. It's a smear job. Yeah, that's bullshit. You can call anybody else out for stuff like this and people are okay with it. But if you call out somebody like Kamala Harris, everybody gets outraged.